The skies over the Middle East burn with fire. As of June 22, 2025, the world watches a conflict threatening to spiral into global catastrophe. American B-52 bombers have struck Iranian nuclear sites, escalating a shadow war decades in the making. Missiles and drones streak across Iran and Israel, air raid sirens wail, and civilians scramble for shelter. Protesters fill streets from Tehran to New York, but their cries for peace are drowned out by the drums of war. This is not a new conflict, but the violent eruption of old wounds. Decisions made by men long dead echo in every explosion. Israel's Rising Lion operation, its largest air campaign ever, was launched on fears Iran was weeks from a nuclear weapon. Iran's missile barrage has pierced Israel's defenses, bringing war to its cities. The U.S. has now joined the fight, its B-52 U.S. marking a dangerous escalation. The human cost mounts: Iranian civilians dead, Israeli hospitals overflowing, oil markets in turmoil, and the world on edge. Leaders in Washington, Tehran, and Tel Aviv remain locked in a cycle of escalation, prisoners of a history that has led them to this perilous moment. To understand today's crisis, we must return to 1953, when Iran was a democracy led by Prime Minister Mossadegh. His move to nationalize Iran's oil angered Britain and the US, who feared losing control and Soviet influence. The CIA and MI6 orchestrated a coup, toppling Mossadegh and restoring the Shah, a move that shattered Iranian trust. For Iranians, 1953 became a symbol of foreign domination and betrayal, a wound that never healed. The US installed an autocratic monarch, sowing the seeds for the radicalism it would later fear. The memory of the coup fueled decades of resentment, setting the stage for the revolution to come. After the coup, the US propped up the Shah, pouring billions into Iran's military and modernization. On the surface, Iran thrived, but beneath, resentment grew. The Shah's regime was repressive, his secret police brutal. A westernized elite prospered, while most Iranians felt left behind and saw the Shah as an American puppet. Ayatollah Khomeini, exiled but defiant, gave voice to the anger, framing the struggle as both religious and nationalist. The Shah's modernization alienated traditionalists, his repression alienated intellectuals. Corruption, inequality, and foreign influence created a perfect storm. By the late 1970s, discontent boiled over, and revolution was inevitable. The stage was set to sweep away both the Shah and American influence. 1979 was the turning point. The Shah fled and Khomeini returned, establishing the Islamic Republic. The final break came when radical students stormed the US embassy, taking 52 Americans hostage. The 444-day crisis seared Iran's image into American minds. Angry mobs, anti-American chants, and burning flags. For the US, it was a national trauma. For Iran, an act of liberation from decades of foreign control. The failed rescue attempt deepened the divide, and "Death to America" became the regime's rallying cry. The US responded with sanctions and containment, cementing mutual hostility. Both nations defined themselves in opposition to each other, forging a chasm of mistrust. The events of 1979 made the US and Iran permanent adversaries, setting the stage for decades of conflict. Today, the ideological battle has become a direct military confrontation. US B-52 strikes on Iran followed Israel's Rising Lion campaign, triggered by fears of an imminent Iranian nuclear weapon. Iran retaliated with missiles and drones, some breaching Israeli defenses and causing devastation. Iran's regional proxies, though weakened, remain a threat, poised to strike US bases and disrupt oil supplies. The nuclear stakes are higher than ever. The Fordo facility, buried deep in a mountain, is beyond Israel's reach. Only the US can destroy it. Diplomacy has failed. Sanctions crippled Iran but didn't change its course. The nuclear deal is dead, and last-ditch talks in Geneva are going nowhere. Communication has been replaced by missile strikes and bomber sorties. The world waits, fearing a single miscalculation could ignite a regional inferno. As war looms, the US is paralyzed by internal chaos. The Trump administration's response is erratic, refusing Israel's call for intervention while issuing threats and mixed signals. Infighting and leaks in Washington undermine national security, exposing deep fractures. Iran sees a distracted, divided America and gambles it can withstand strikes, retaliate and activate proxies without triggering all-out war. Tehran bets US political will is too weak for a major conflict, hoping to continue its nuclear ambitions. But this perception of American weakness is dangerous. A cornered president could lash out unpredictably. The risk of catastrophic miscalculation grows as both sides misread each other's resolve. We stand at a crossroads. If escalation continues, the consequences will be catastrophic. All-out war would engulf the Middle East, with Iran resorting to asymmetric warfare, Hezbollah rockets, Houthi attacks, and global terrorism. The Strait of Hormuz would close, oil prices would soar, and a global depression could follow. Cities would be devastated, millions displaced, and fragile states could collapse, creating a power vacuum for extremists. The nuclear threat looms. A US strike on Fordow or an Iranian nuclear detonation would unleash horrors unseen since 1945. This crisis is the result of ignoring history's lessons, choosing confrontation over diplomacy, letting old wounds fester. Each cycle of conflict has grown more dangerous, and we are running out of time to pull back. Unless leaders break the cycle of vengeance and embrace real diplomacy, the world faces unimaginable suffering. The ghosts of the past are warning us. We must listen before it's too late.